Hey guys, Rodney Walker here with Grant Central USA and Get Funded with Rodney. I'm happy to have you today because on today we have a special guest coming all the way from Chicago, have none other than Miss Tony Harris of Next Level Grants. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you, Rodney. Glad to be here.
It is a pleasure having you. How are things up in good old Chicago? I like to call it Chi-Town. How are things up that way?
It is getting cold.
It's getting cold. All right.
We're just making that transition.
Well, listen, that's Chicago, the Windy City, right?
You got it. So
Yeah,
we have a nice weekend coming up. So I'm grateful for that.
that's great. Are you originally from Chicago?
I am. I've been in Chicago my entire life. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas,
Uh-huh.
but my family moved to Chicago when I was 6 months old. I'm told. Don't quite remember.
Okay.
Um, so I lived in Chicago in the proper the first 2 years, and
Uh-huh.
then I've been in the suburban communities all through elementary, high school, and beyond. So
Wow. Well, Chicago's a wonderful, wonderful city. You are a grant professional and you got into grant professional. I believe the last time we talked. Tell us how you got into this career again.
it's funny. It was a long path actually, and not a planned path. It's something that I always tell people. I didn't set out to be a grant professional, a grant writer. It definitely found me and drew me in, I would say. I started out in the for-profit arena. I worked for a number of agencies in Chicago in public affairs, community relations, PR, marketing. So I was always a very good writer and good at planning and project management and that type of thing. And while I was with a public affairs firm, I learned how to do responses to requests for proposals. And but that was always either on behalf of the client or for the organizations themselves. But funny story I like to tell about the days of writing RFPs. Nowadays with grants, you see a lot of in the guidelines, they say no binders, no clips, no folders.
Yeah.
I always say I think we were to blame for that because we used to package these thick 2-inch, 3-inch books and then have them sent by messenger to City Hall all the time. They were literally like this thick, and we spent nights just putting them together, going around the table and all of that stuff. So I really,
now we know where it came from. It came from, we can blame Tony now. All right. Well, that's cool. Most grant professionals I get a chance to talk to say something similar. They say that they weren't looking for grant writing, grant writing kind of found them as well, kind of fell into it. And that's cool that you're doing it. And you've helped to raise millions of dollars, which is really great. Tell me this, Tony, you are doing grant consulting and helping these organizations to do some great things. How did our paths cross? Will you share that? Because you're one of my VIP clients doing an amazing job. But tell us, how did our paths end up coming together?
It's very interesting, Rodney, and I'm really grateful the way that it all turned out. I was actually having been doing this on my own for a good 10 years now, managing my own clients. I was really just feeling a need for some support and a community. And I was looking for, that's really what I was looking for, a community of other grant professionals that were doing things like I was. I wanted to get some other tips, any kind of, I wanted to find out really what other people are doing. I always say you don't know what you don't know. And I just wanted to share some best practices, kind of test my own areas of knowledge and grow, And so I went online and I was actually thinking about some different tools and things that I might use, and I just did a Google search, and I came upon one of your articles.
Wow.
A blog that you did some time ago, I believe, and it was very interesting. It was very helpful to me, and so it led me to Grant Central USA, and I had some questions for you because I was looking for a quick response, and so I had some questions for you. So I remember I sent you an inbox, and you responded, and we had a great conversation, and the rest is history.
Listen, I remember really well because you connected, and I'm glad. First of all, let me say I'm glad that article was out there to find you, but I never will forget it. There was some balls that I dropped. I said, wow, we dropped some balls over here. And, you know, it's like I tell people all the time, we're not a perfect business, but, you know, when we come to work with people, I like to make sure that we keep our word, what Grant Central says we're going to do. And so when I saw your message that, hey, we need to get in touch with you, I said, hey, listen, I want to make sure we touch base with this young lady because you never know how we can help. And so we got a chance to connect. And as you say, the rest is history. And you've been doing an awesome job. And I'm excited because I know you and Rosetta are doing some cool things down the pipeline. It got a show coming out. I'll let you tell us more about that because we want to know about that. But we got a chance to start connecting. And once that connection happened, tell us what it was like for you once you made that connection, because you were looking for this and then you found it. What type of things started changing as a result of it?
Wow, it's really been life-changing. I would say probably the most important thing that happened for me is I got my spark back.
Okay, wait. Tell us about this. You got your spark back. That sounds like a lot. Tell us about it.
Definitely. I kind of went down a trail, I guess, again, having been in the business for a while, where, you know, I think at some point when you're not getting the feedback, you're not having those conversations, I didn't really know the value, or really didn't know how much of a difference I was making. And so it wasn't until I started having conversations with you and with Rosetta and others that are involved in the whole Grant Central circle that I really started to realize, you know, this is really valuable, and that I provide a really valuable service to my clients. And, you know, if not for the professional guidance that I'm able to offer them, they wouldn't be in the position that they are to fulfill their missions and build their programs and pay their staff and all those things. So ultimately, you know, grant writers, grant professionals, we're helping to solve the problems of the world, you know, and so that's huge. That's a huge thing.
Is huge. That is huge. And I'm glad. Cool thing is, I'm glad you got your spark back, because that means that there's more sparks that you can begin to continue to do with all those wonderful nonprofits. And the very fact that you've already raised millions of dollars for these nonprofit organizations means that you've been doing something right. And we want to make sure we keep that spark going. What else happened next? So we started working together. You started looking at and working with others that were connected with us. And then what happened next? What are some of the other things that started happening?
Well, one of the things that really helped was the law of success and the self-confidence formula by Napoleon Hill. And just being able to just saying that formula, and I recommend it to anybody to pick it up and learn it and memorize it. The self-confidence formula transforms you. It really does. It really, and it may seem kind of quirky to hear about it until you actually get into it and practice it and make it a part of you. And so I just started really noticing almost immediately, really, a change in just my desire to get better systems, to expand my reach, to even attract more and more quality clients, better clients, clients that are really, willing to invest and take the journey to really grow their programs and their missions. So it really, it has helped me as a grants professional to really go to another level.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And many people may not be familiar with that self-confidence formula that you're talking about. I want to tell you, this lady, Rosetta, when we first started, when we were doing that program, we don't let anybody really into this program until they memorize that self-confidence formula. Rosetta was one of the ones, not Rosetta, I'm sorry, Tony, both of them in the same class, but Tony was one of the quickest learners of the self-confidence formula that I've ever had. And she grabbed it and ran with it. And I'm not going to tell you how long it took me to learn it, but she learned it so quick, I would, and got it. And it's good that you're running with it. And it's been something that's been propelling you in different ways. What ways would you say? You said one is kind of helping you get your spark back. Mm-hmm. And you also said that it helped to do some other things, but unpack that for us. And let me say this before you tell us and unpack it. That self-confidence formula is helping her to think about being persistent and courageous in ways. And it helped me and it helped the others that we're working with because we started them out with that. But tell your own story. Tell me more about what that looked like for you exactly.
It got me started really thinking about where I want to be, where the path that I'm taking, not just seeing what I do is more than just a gig or more than just a job, or just, but actually looking at it in a very strategic kind of way, and really thinking about who and what I really want my legacy to be. And looking at my business and all of the different elements of it, and being very strategic in building, line by line, all of the different areas of it and aspects. One thing it did is help to build my confidence to even be able to do this, for instance. So being able, so doing interviews and being more accessible, making myself more accessible on LinkedIn, on social media. Rosetta and I have a great show that's coming up. But all of that starts with placing value on what you do and who you are and what you know, and believing in that, and understanding that when what you have is valuable, then you're willing and able to share that with other people.
I love it. I see you like blossoming just like a flower, just blooming, okay? And that's really cool that that's happening. So the self-confidence formula has helped with your confidence area. It's helped you to do some things. Now, you said something just a second ago, even doing this show. Before this time, had you done any interviews, done any shows? Because I know you're in the process of getting ready to launch your own show. And I want to talk a little bit about that in just a second. But do you think you probably would have been doing that had it not probably been for the law of success and the self-confidence formula?
Absolutely not. No. I know for certain that I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing, and taking the part of it is taking the persistent, aggressive, and continuous action towards my definite purpose in life. And so, that accountability, I'm holding myself accountable to the promises that I make to myself. And so every day, and some days are better than others. Some days there's more wins than others, obviously. Some days are more frustrating than others, but just being willing to step up, to step out and do something. How can I move my business forward today? And having that mindset every day. I demand this of myself. I'm doing this because I'm worth this. I am worth doing this for myself. It means something to myself and who I am. So I owe it to myself,
Wow.
to fulfill my promises to myself.
You get me, listen, you get me excited about it. I'm about to go get my self-confidence form and repeat it around here. And the cool thing is you memorize that. And those of you don't know, it takes about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to say the self-confidence formula all along. And she memorized that. And that was really cool that you did that. And I'm hearing already and seeing some of the fruit of that. I've seen your LinkedIn profile. It's gone to the next level, like your name of your company. And I've seen all these other steps. You've got a chance to kind of do some masterminding within our VIP program as we get a chance to connect. Tell us about how that's been for you and what some of the fruit of that's been.
It has, it's been life-changing as well, because it expands your thinking, being able to share with other professionals and hear what they have to say and get their insights. It expands your thinking. And the whole concept of the mastermind is actually doing more, as a whole than one person could do. Yeah. As an individual. So having that community, having that camaraderie, there's no competition. There's just teamwork and wanting to see honestly wanting to see each other win. And boosting one another and boasting about each other. It's the kind of community that I've always desired and really didn't know was possible. And I have to say, it just kind of sparked a memory of something. I remember so many times being employed as a grant writer in certain organizations and being the sole grant writer, on board, the only person doing any fundraising at all for the most part, and really just feeling like nobody understood. Nobody understands the long hours. Nobody understands all the research that you have to do. Nobody understands, what it takes to, trying to build relationships. Nobody understands what it takes to get from A to Z. So you get very little credit, but you get all the blame if nothing goes well, if the money doesn't come in.
Yeah.
So it has been life-changing to know and to realize, there are a lot of people that are doing this and are doing it well, and even doing it at a greater level than I was, and had been. So that's great, because that allows me something to aspire to. When Rosetta wins and gets a big win, I'm cheering for it. I'm like, I'm coming right behind you.
Exactly.
I'm coming.
What is it? I mean, and that's, I think, the cool part about it when we're doing masterminds and we're in the group together, and you see somebody like in the situation that Rosetta had with hers, that here in one day. Well, we know it didn't just happen solely in one day, but after putting in the work and building the systems that we helped to lay out, one day having over $100,000 in sales.
Amazing.
What did even hearing about something like that do for you? Because you were there at the very beginning, seeing every step of the way. What did even seeing something like that do for you?
Just like, wow, this is real. We're not just doing stuff. We're not just, having meetings every week, not just chatting, not just, but we're working, and it actually pays off. And I saw the progression, and I remember saying to Rosette, I think I messaged her and I told her, I said, I see the work that you're putting in, and it's lining up. And it's coming to fruition, and it's going to pay off big, and it really did. And so that just, was affirmation, was affirming to me to know, okay, keep going, keep focused. It's also tempting, on the flip side, to want to compare yourself, and think, okay, I'm not there yet. I haven't gotten that big win yet, but it's inspiring. And it lets me know, okay, if I do X, Y, and Z and keep doing X, Y, and Z and stay committed to getting better and growing and being challenged at times. And sometimes it's easy to think about what you don't have or what you don't know or what's not happening and all of that. Yeah. But if you just stay focused and stay committed and stay consistent,
yes,
it's gonna pay off.
That's cool, because when you trust the process, it will happen. It will happen. And it's just a matter of time. Like I told you last time, I need to get my shades on with you, because your future, when I tell you, is so bright. And this is not the last time we'll be doing this, because I want to bring you back and let people see some of those big wins that are literally right around the corner. The cool thing I'm already hearing that's really cool, Tony, is that you've already been making some major changes and some shifts. And I think the example that you gave a little earlier about got your spark back, it kind of reminded me of like a car with spark plugs. Like you got to change the spark plugs to keep the engine and everything going. And you've changed those spark plugs. And now, as a result, those nonprofits that you're working with in those schools and governmental agencies, they're going to be the better because they get a chance to work with you. Having won millions of dollars already and doing good work as a grant professional, I know that you are more aligned with doing consulting. And could you tell us more about maybe the niche and some of the groups that you like to work with?
Sure. I enjoy working with community colleges, for one. I love that educational space. Particularly, I have a passion for, some would say, education, equity in education. So helping particularly junior colleges, community colleges, 2-year colleges. Oftentimes the student population, they're those that they're often working to pay for school. They have families, they have other priorities. And so those institutions really, their fundraising, a lot of it is committed to helping those students to succeed. So helping them with tuition, helping them with emergency expenses, helping level the playing field, if you will, with regard to Black, Indigenous, people of color, on campus, and creating an environment that is equitable and just and encourages the success of people of color. Those are the types of things that I like to partner with organizations about, and being able to help them amass the funding for that is something that I'm really passionate. I love doing quite a bit. So I've also worked with organizations I've worked with social service agencies, as well as arts and culture. But basically, my heart is to give back. My heart is to serve the community, to serve others, and still be able to make money also.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's not a bad thing to say that.
Let me say, she ain't free, y'all. She's good at she's great at what she does, but she's not free is what she's saying. That's awesome.
Not a bad word.
Exactly. When you help organizations, my whole thinking is, when you help organizations that raise millions, that you should be well compensated for that, and that's what you do. Let me ask you this, because I see this wonderful shift taking place and this growth happening in so many different areas. I know you got a show coming up, you and your tag team partner Rosetta. Tell us about the name of the show, and tell us a little bit more about that. Because we're looking forward to getting a chance to see that. And this is something new that you're developing. This is that new Tony is coming for. Tell us about that show.
Sure. Well, the name of the program is Let's Talk About Grants, and we're going to be launching in January. And the whole idea is Rosetta and I are just going to really chat. And it's going to be very informal and hopefully fun. And our goal is to really give executive directors, other grant professionals, people in that nonprofit space, the tips that they need to be successful in this field. So we're going to talk about some of the pitfalls, some of probably some funny stories we've had, maybe some not so funny instances, how to deal with those things, what to keep in mind when hiring a grants professional, and probably what to keep in mind if you're interested in going into this business. So we're going to share our own stories along the way and hopefully make some really great connections. You'll have an opportunity to get to know me. You have an opportunity to get to know Rosetta, and kind of how we bounce off of each other. I think we've developed a great relationship, a great friendship, a great sisterhood. And awesome. I think it's gonna be really a fun time.
That's awesome. That's great. How, if someone wants to get in touch with you, Rosetta, I mean, you, Rosetta and Tony, we've been talking so much today. When they want to get in touch with you, Tony, for the show that you and Rosetta are going to be doing, and also for any of the stuff that you're doing, because if there's a community college that's out there, or city college, or anyone in that space, educational space, looking for a grant professional, this lady can really help you. How can they get in touch with you, specifically those groups that they're looking to work with you and learn more about some of the services? What's the best way?
Sure, you can find me. I am on LinkedIn. You can go to meettonyharris.com and you'll see my full profile and my background, and just learn a bit about me. If you're interested in getting some help with your grants program, you can actually book an appointment with me for booktonyharris.com. That's booktonyharris.com and meettonyharris.com. So either of those will get you to me. And again, I am on LinkedIn. You can just Tony Harris on LinkedIn. Hit me up in my inbox, and be happy to talk with you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we got a little something we're gonna be doing together pretty soon, right? And yeah. I'm looking forward to that. We got a little summit action taking place, so we'll be sharing a little bit more information. Y'all stay tuned, but make sure you go and follow Tony. She's good people and doing awesome work. Before we get ready to wrap up today, Tony, if there's somebody that may be where you were at and they were like, and they're lonesome, doing grant writing, all by them lonesome selves, and kind of finding themselves in that space. And maybe they're looking at the possibilities of doing the VIP program like you did and are doing. What advice would you say to them?
I would say definitely get connected with Grant Center USA. And again, you can reach out to me, as I said, on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to share my insights with you as well. But I think the most important thing for you is to get connected and just hear from other people, see for yourself that there are other people that are doing it, that you'll find that you can do it also. And you'll find that you have some friends in the industry that you can reach out to and that can share with you and can cheer you on, and hopefully help you to get your spark back as well. So that would be my first advice, is don't go through it alone. Don't stay in that silo. That can be a very lonely place, and it can cause you to really doubt yourself, and to not really know the jewel that you are. So reach out to Grant Central, reach out to Rodney, reach out to me, and we can definitely help you through this process. You're gonna win.
Yeah. I love it. I love what you said. See the beautiful gem that you are. That's wonderful. And you are truly a gem. Thank you for sharing on today, Tony. I'm so excited about what you're doing. I'm looking forward to seeing the show. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the other great results, and also looking forward to partnering with you and doing some really cool things in 2022 as we get ready to head into that wonderful year. With that being said, I want to thank you for being a part today and for sharing some of your story. And I'm wishing you continued success. Those of you that are listening out there, I want to encourage you, make sure you go and follow this wonderful lady who's doing some really, really cool things. And remember, as always, to be brave, to be bold. I want you to be brilliant. And yes, take charge.